Hey folks, Mike Lynch here from Barna Financial Group, where my team helps you create and implement plans to help you finance your life's great desires. Today's video focuses on a huge issue for many of you. Now, when you're out there reading the personal finance press, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, wherever, you're going to hear about a retirement crisis. And the retirement crisis is oftentimes saying people don't have enough money to retire. Now, my money bets that that's not you. Likely, your retirement crisis is not knowing how to spend your money, how much money you can spend, and therefore not using the money that you've really worked so hard to create. You see, either you're going to take vacations or your kids will. Either you're going to fly first class or your kids will. And all your money is going to be spent. It'll be spent by you, somebody you give it to, or the U.S. government. But it is ultimately going to be spent. So this video is going to help you figure out how much money that you can safely spend off your investments. And before I get into the techniques, I just want to give one little bit of background. See, there's two types of mistakes that people really worry about or could make in retirement. The one mistake that people worry about, that the press writes about, that you hear about all the time, is that you take too much money and you run out of money. You take too much income off your investments and you run out of money. Does it happen? Yes. Have I seen it happen? Not quite yet, but I'm sure I will. But there's another mistake as well. And that mistake is that you don't use your money. You don't take vacations. You don't gift the children. You don't put the addition on your house. You don't take the boat trip. And now you get older and you can't use your money. And horror on all horror, you spend it on long-term care and it just simply goes to nursing home. So what I'm going to talk about today is how you can know how much money you can take off your investments. I've actually written a book on this topic because I'm so passionate about you spending your money. And I've also done a video for people that don't like to read. We've done a video course of the book that's available for free. You just go sign up and you can watch it, okay? Because the habits and disciplines that make middle-class Americans successfully financially build wealth for retirement, it's those same habits and disciplines that prevent them from using their wealth. And that is something that I want to help you get over. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a tool. And many of you have probably heard about the dreaded required minimum distributions. If we're talking slang, you'll hear them talked about as RMDs, okay? RMDs, required minimum distributions. Now, folks, these are your friends, not your enemies, but there is a problem with them. And the problem is they don't start until you are 73 if you're born prior to 1960, and for those of us born after 1960, they don't start till 75. Now, here's another concept. I want you to write it down. Go-go, slow-go, and no-go. That's how you could think about your retirement. You're going to have go-go years. You want to go-go on airplanes. You want to go-go on vacations. You want to go-go to the grandkids' baseball games. You want to go-go-go. You're going to have your slow-go years. Your slow-go years is, well, I've kind of been there. Is it worth the hassle? Maybe we can have them come over here. And then, hopefully, if we all live long enough, we'll get some no-go years. And the no-go years is where we're grateful for Netflix because we're going to be sitting in the chair, likely an old one because we ain't getting a new one, and we're going to be watching TV, right? So what I want you to be able to do is use your money in the go-go years. So 75 may already start to be slow-go or the end of go-go years. And what we want to do is get your money in go-go years. So the first thing is you see here is this tool is the expanded uniform lifetime tables, okay? The expanded uniform lifetime tables. And what this does is it gives you a person's life expectancy according to the IRS. But it's a very special life expectancy because it's a life expectancy table that never kills you. And if you use a life expectancy table that never kills you, you never die, to figure out the percentage of money that you can take out of your account, you're never gonna run out of money, right? Perfect. Okay, so what do I mean by this? And so we can look at this chart. It's a very special chart. It says at 60 years old, you're gonna live another 38.7 years. So let's round it up. And so let's say you're going to live 39 years. And so that's 99 years old. How do you feel about that, folks? Pretty good. If you had income until 99, you'd be well into what I called your slow-go years. Would you agree? But it's like the Ginsu knife. It gets better and better and better because we can go, and by the time you're 99 years old, as you see here, the government still says you got another 7 years to go. In other words, if you use this chart, you will never die for income purposes. And what that means is a safe way to calculate how much money you can remove from your investments each year. Spend on whatever you want. Do it again the following year with a new calculation and not be in danger of running out of money. All right, let's look at an example, folks. Here's how we're going to use this chart to liberate people and get them to be able to use their money. So what we have here is we have a couple, Bill and Jane. They're clearly in their go-go years. Bill is 69, Jane is 66. In addition to the income sources they have over $2.1 million in retirement plans. So they got Social Security, pension, and $2 million. But that's the problem. You know why? It's not time yet to take the required minimum distributions, and it won't be now for a few years. And they're not using any of the money. And in fact, they can't agree on how much money to use. And in fact, one person is a little bit nervous to use any of the money, but this person might also be feeling like she or he doesn't have enough money to do the things they want to do. So here's the solution. We go 69 and 66. So we bounce over to this table that we showed you before. Again, it's our uniform table that we have that exists prior to them at the RMD age. So we say, okay, when the person's at 66 years old, take 33 more years to live, they're going to get to what? 99. And if they divide that in, it's a 3% withdrawal rate, right? Other gentlemen, 69, 30.1, 3.32. So in round numbers, they could safely take how much? 3% off. So let's go back. And it's very simple. You can do this at home. You can build it up. We can help you do it. And we have, see, 3.32 for the younger, 3.3 for the older. And now we apply the table to the money. So we have 736. We apply the 3.32. We got 24,000. We have 5,000. We get to the retirement plans still at the companies. We got 24. We got 14. So now we have, in this example, $68,686 that this couple could safely take out of their retirement plans and use. Now, how should they use it? It's up to you. But one strategy that we discussed was take the money out in January, pay the tax, withhold the tax, and put it in a bank account. Now, that money is now in that bank account all year. You can use it to finance vacations. You can use it to gift to the kids. You can use it to gift to the grandkids. Or you know what? You can just keep it in the bank account. But what it's going to allow you to do is recognize that you have these resources available to you to spend and to use for your family. So you might be looking at this, say, no, duh, that's simple. I could just take 3%. And you look, if you can process it this well, congratulations, do it, spend your money in your go-go years. But when I started using this with clients, it became with people that said, you know what, I feel broke. I have $2 million, in this case, $2.1 million in a retirement plan, but I feel like I can't spend any money. And then one spouse might be saying, yeah, but I want to do things. I want to give money to the kids. I want to give money to the grandkids. And then the other spouse looks at their bank account, right? They look at their bank account, and the bank account might only have $20,000. And they say, no, we can't give $10,000 to each kid. We only have $20,000 in the bank. right? And so a solution like this is a way for you to get money out of your retirement plans and safely into your bank, where you can mentally process the resources that you do have available to you, right? So it's a very good technique to deal with the human psychology of how money works. Because when us financial planners, when I look at your money, after you're 59 and a half, all your money is your money. So when I look at this couple, I said, well, they have $2.125 million they could use. How could they possibly feel broke? But yet, it's perfectly rational for somebody used to looking at their bank account all their life as their liquid money, their retirement plans as money that's for later. They don't see it that way. They see that I only have $20,000 that I can spend. This $2.125 million is for the future. And so the problem or the issue or the condition that this technique addresses is that psychological issue. It says, okay, now we can turn the asset, see how much income it could safely generate. Let's put that income in a liquid, safe, and readily available after tax. We've already paid the taxes on it, space that they know they can spend. And now when you look at your bank account, it's not $20,000 in this case, it would be $88,000 in January that they had. And if they wanted a $20,000 cash reserve, they would know that they could spend that $68,000. Hey folks, I hope you found this interesting. One more caveat before I go. These are pre-tax numbers. If this is coming out of a Roth IRA, it would all be available to spend. If it was coming out of a brokerage account with a basis, it would almost all be able to spend because of taxes. If this is coming out of an IRA, it doesn't have to be an IRA to use these tables, then you would want to apply your tax rates to it and withhold the money so you directly to the IRS, and if you live in a state that charges you to your state, so you're using after-tax money. Okay, so there you have it, folks. It's an easy system. Figure out how much money you have, figure out how old you are, figure out what the percentage is that you can take off out of the IRS charts, out of the lifetime charts, and then just do the math and see how much you can take out. You're free to do this yourself. You can contact us, and we're happy to do it for you. Because like we say, we'll focus on your finances so you can focus on your life.